Welcome to Love to See It, a podcast about the one woman we're actually rooting for to be romance scammed.
Emotional stigmatization is real, people. Beware, ladies. Beware. And also, if it happens to you within the confines of the Traitors, you do reap what you sow.
Yeah, today we're getting into the Traitors season 4, episode 11, the finale. Our recap of the reunion, we just did not have capacity to turn it around this quickly, so it will be coming early next week.
A little housekeeping before we get into the finale. Make sure not to miss our Love is Blind coverage. Truly, the men on this season are delivering the highest levels of fuckery. You do not want to miss our enraged commentary.
And over on Rich Text, we released a conversation about the America's Next Top Model docuseries and the Tell Me Lies finale. We have a episode coming soon about Wuthering Heights and Bridgerton season 4 part 2. So you can find those episodes at claireandemma.substack.com.
Let's get into the Traitors finale, which just throttled towards its most inevitable conclusion.
I mean, yeah, we finished last week being like, Rob's gonna win. And what do you know?
Spoilers.
What do you know? So we pick back up where we left off. Who is being murdered outside the castle while everyone watches? Alan reveals in front of the whole crew that the victim is Mark.
And this was the only smart decision.
Yeah, he's like an actual swing vote. He's not someone that the Traitors can count on being on side. And with Maura, it doesn't even really matter if they're throwing suspicion off of Rob because Maura's not going to notice. And they have the numbers as long as Maura stays on side. So why mess with success?
I mean, Mark is like, see ya in hell, entering the coffin. And Maura just is not paying attention at all. She just keeps muttering about how it was going to be her.
Right. She's like, I thought it was going to be me. I really thought it was going to be me.
Maura.
Why?
Maura, do one amount of critical thinking, 1 single minute of critical thinking challenge.
She really wrestles with herself this episode in a way that we haven't seen in previous episodes, where she really is starting to be like, you know, Natalie had a point. Why am I still here? What's going on?
She doesn't get further than that, though.
I sort of thought that I wasn't someone who could stay this long in the game, but it turns out that I'm actually really good at it. That's her conclusion.
Maura,
that's her takeaway.
I was screaming. I was just screaming at my television every time Maura was on screen. Mark gives his little exit interview, and he says that he thinks he was murdered because he was closing in on the Traitors, and he'd put his money on Eric. Ding, ding, ding.
For the first time, there's no murder victim to reveal at breakfast. They all know already what happened. And that was also put out there as sort of like they'll have to be really careful about how they react.
No one's paying attention.
No one's paying. Certainly Maura isn't paying attention, and everyone else is already pretty sure about what they think is going on.
Exactly. It would really only matter if Maura was paying attention.
She's busy having the dawning realization that she's actually really, really strategically intelligent. Eric arrives first by himself. He says he's been through a lot to get to the final 5 because being a traitor goes against every natural fiber in his body. He usually puts others first. Maura gets there next, and as she walks in, Eric is like, she's so good at this game. And she's like, yes, I am. Yay!
I'm amazing.
What a motley crew we have left in the final 5. She's in another one of her gigantic newsboy hats, and she tells the camera that she has trust issues because the majority of the guys she's dated have cheated on her.
Get ready to add your castle husband to the list, Maura.
This is really, I think, not the place to try to test drive the
Trusting
radical
men.
act of trust with men. Like, this is not the spot. Like, yes, in your next relationship, try not to project your past issues onto your partner. Do not make that exercise happen here
in a game called The Traitors.
It's kind of the whole point is that even if he's a good guy, he could be lying to you just structurally, like as part of the game. Like, not the place to practice this.
She's like, not my Rob.
She does think that Tara is a faithful.
She tinks.
I love her accent.
I know. I wish I could do it.
Every episode, I'm like battling between like, oh, she's so beautiful and has such a charming accent, and also like, Maura, you fool, like, stop it.
Wake up. But you tink. You tink.
Yeah.
You tink Tara is a faithful, and she's right about that one thing.
Her gut is also telling her that it's not Rob, but she is starting to have just a little bit of doubt.
Not enough doubt, but a little bit.
Something that I said to you before we started taping is that I do wonder if they edited this episode to make us feel some sense of suspense about the outcome by removing any part of her confessionals where she is questioning her belief in Tara. Like, we see these moments where she's like, I guess I maybe doubt Rob a little bit. We don't really see her say that about Tara. But I would assume she also doubts Tara a little bit.
Yeah, and here's the thing. They can try, but I felt no suspense during this finale. I was like, I see where this is going. The numbers are not there. There are 2 traitors left, and Maura only trusts Rob. Like, there's no other way that this was going to play out. I appreciate that people give it the old college try. But
I had this moment later when Maura sits down and confidently lies to Eric, which we'll get to, when I was like, maybe she's like Gone Girl. You know, maybe she has like she's the heroine of this dark, twisted thriller.
I wish.
And
no.
she's playing the fool and everyone believes it. But then we get all the way to the end and she just knifes Rob in the back because she has been flirting and batting her eyelashes and making him believe he can always trust her. But really, she was the one who was puppeteering. And no, that's not what happened.
That's really beautiful fan fiction.
That's like the feminist novel version that I'm going to write about this. So Rob arrives next, and she's there with her 2 besties now, her 2 traitor besties. And Rob tells them that he wants to take out first Johnny, then Tara, no matter what. He says to us that Maura is his queen, like not in the sense of like, she's my queen, everything I do is for her, more like she is a very valuable piece on my chessboard and I need her to vote out Johnny and Tara, then Eric and I can win the game. It's checkmate. Johnny gets to breakfast next in white and black brocade palazzo pants.
His outfits in this final stretch are really doing it.
I also kind of loved Rob's tight little like ringer tee with like the vintage slogan on it.
I was like, I would wear that.
He's doing himbo fashion in a way that I really enjoy. And Johnny is keeping his eye on the prize, getting to the end with Tara, because, you know, he understands that rough experiences lead you to where you want to be. And he knows that from the Olympics. The Olympics are over. You don't need to be doing this kind of
you know what?
promotion anymore.
What would have gotten you where you want to be? Not dropping the ball with Natalie.
No, this is the problem. They biffed the short program. Like, you can skate your heart out now in the free skate, but it's too late.
It's too late. You've already done it. You've already sealed your fate.
Yeah. You've climbed to 5th, and there's a lot to applaud there, but
you're not on the
podium. Tara is there last, looking very cute in tartan and a leather mini skirt. It is such a wild group to end up with, and I do want to take a moment to really applaud Rob for the way that he selected this group out.
I think we talked about this a little bit last episode, but it is worth repeating that the real genius of Rob's gameplay is the fact that he successfully picked off enough people that he can end without another formidable alliance to go up against. No one really trusts each other the way that people trust Rob. Maura and Eric trust Rob more than they trust anyone else in this game. They are not going to be swayed away from Rob. Maybe they could turn on each other, but they will not turn on Rob. And then Johnny and Tara, yeah, they can put up a fight, but it's 2 against 3.
And part of that is people's willful ignorance because they just love their hot, like, farm boy daddy leader. But part of it is strategy, and I do respect that. Eric brings up that Mark's murder was wild. And Rob is like, yeah, it was definitely just going to be me or him because him and I are just very trusted amongst the group.
was like, calm down.
I
Calm
was like,
down, Rob.
who are you saying this for at this point?
It's just a little back pat.
Alan arrives and lets them know that the prize pot currently stands at $180K. And he reminds them that from now on at the round table, no one's identity as faithful or traitor will be revealed. And if any traitors are left at the end, they will take all the money. But first, one more mission. Let's make a splash.
Rob is ready to get wet, as are at least a solid 80% of the Traitors cast and audience whenever they see him.
I mean, are they even ready to get wet once they see
No,
him? They're like,
they're
baby, I'm
currently
already
wet."
there. Join me. So after
Maura is
breakfast,
soaking.
oh God. I mean, honestly, I get we all get it.
We all get it. We all get it. Look, I've had a crush on Rob for more than a year now. It's my weakness. It's all of our collective weaknesses.
After breakfast, the group mingles and strategizes. Johnny is still reeling from Natalie being a faithful, and he knows now that they should have stuck to their guns and banished Rob. Whoops, a little too late, Johnny. You're fucked. Johnny has had a bit of a brainwave now that he does not have the votes.
Yeah, now that he can't win, he's putting all the pieces together.
Yeah, he's like, I see. Rob and Eric are the final traitor. I mean, they're down to basically no one. And he's like, I know Tara better than I know myself. She could not lie to me. I would know. Maura certainly could not succeed as a traitor this far into the game.
Maura, she a dummy.
He's like, we've eliminated everyone else, so it must be Rob and Eric. Gosh, I wish I had figured this out before we had eliminated everyone else. He's like, Eric is too quiet. Candace left a breadcrumb about Rob by voting for him.
She left a goddamn loaf of bread.
She literally did. She put it on their plates pre-sliced for them. And they're like, could that have been a hint? No, that's ridiculous. Johnny and Tara chat, and Johnny tells her that he thinks it's Rob and Eric, and she agrees. They realize they have to try to pull Maura away from the Eric and Rob alliance. And they agree to target Eric first, which is smart.
This is very smart.
It was their only hope. And I hate to even have to say it was smart. It feels obvious. But after they went to Maura first,
well, that's the thing.
Roundtable,
I was like, I literally don't know if they have it in them to do any strategy. So I was pleased to see that they tried.
Yeah. They were like, at least then Eric will be gone and we'll have two alliances head to head at the final fire pit. And at least one of them won't be a traitor.
And that is correct. Here's the thing. If they were able to peel Maura off, if Maura was just an ounce more of a critical thinker, this could have worked.
She's just all heart, you know? She just wants to love. Rob and Eric are chatting with Maura, preparing to complete their plan. First Johnny, then Tara. Maura floats that it could be just one of them, but Eric and Rob are like, no, it's definitely both of them, we're sure. Eric's argument is that they must both be traitors because they stayed away from each other at the beginning, and he says there's no other way.
Also, I'm sorry, there's been a clip floating around. Eric did an interview a few years ago during the Olympics with Johnny and Tara. So he knew they were best friends.
Okay, I think that a lot of them were simply playing along with it. Like Johnny and Tara were like, we're going to show up and not tell anyone that we're best friends. Like we'll be a target. And everyone was sort of like, okay, I guess they're pretending that they're not best friends. I don't care. I've got other stuff to focus on right now.
But the point is, like, he knew. They all knew. And no one thought they were traitors.
Right. That doesn't change houses, like, whether it's suspicious that they did it, though.
That's true. It is something to latch onto, but it's very obvious. Like, Eric never brought it up before, is my point. Eric never found it suspicious until this moment.
Well, now there's no one else around who's suspicious, so he's casting about. Like, maybe it's this. No, it's ridiculous because also people pretend not to know each other on the show or they get murdered. Like, that's just kind of how the game works. Rob tells us that Johnny is far more capable of talking himself out of a hole than Tara. I is he? Like, they're both still here. I don't really understand where this presumption of Johnny's capabilities is coming from.
You don't, Claire?
I mean, I have my suspicions. I mean, Tara has made a lot of major fuck ups, and Tara,
She is someone who
well,
gets tripped up during a round table more than Johnny, I will say. Johnny is able to like maintain some calm in the face of people coming for him in a way that we've seen Tara just sort of crumble and back away.
I don't know. I'm not totally sold that one is a much more formidable opponent than the other, but Rob feels confident about this, and he also feels 70% sure that Maura will stick with him. He spent the whole game building this relationship, and he's ready to cash in.
Those dividends, they will be paid.
Then Tara comes in and grabs Maura for a chat. Tara tells Maura that she knows Johnny is a faithful, but they don't know about Eric. He never commits, he never talks, he won't ever say a name. Maura tells Tara that she has never voted for her and she's not planning on it. And Tara is like, so if you vote with us for Eric, that's 3 people. Do you understand? I was like, Tara, I really hope she understands. It's like very basic math. And Maura and Tara are like, yes, we've got this. And I felt the tiniest bit of hope. I was like, do we have a femme alliance forming?
No.
Are the girls getting together?
No, the girls will not be getting together. Maura cannot do it.
After this conversation, though, Maura thinks that Tara's argument is convincing.
I do think that Tara successfully bolstered Maura's suspicions about Eric because she does carry them through to the end. In her mind, she's like, Eric is a traitor.
Yeah.
But Rob isn't.
Maura's not the kind of player who is going to take in Rob's refusal to consider Eric and process that and think, more and more things are not quite adding up. Why is he so resistant to the possibility of Eric? Why have I not been murdered? You know, she's not going to do that. Instead, when Rob is going to push back really hard, she's just going to be like, oh, well, this is tough. I trust Tara. I trust Rob. I guess I'll go with Rob because he's taller. I don't know. She's like, I don't want to think too much. My brain can't handle much more.
We know.
Yeah. Rob and Eric also chat, and they know that Tara must be trying to flip Maura, but they feel like she's either a brilliant actor or they're good. Like, she's been assuring them very convincingly that the plan is a go.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, the final mission.
And we're back. It's time for this final mission, a helicopter mission, of course. Alan says that he'll need 2 volunteers born for the high life, which is a helicopter. I feel like last season the helicopter mission was such a miserable thing because no one wanted to do it. And Maura is literally jumping up and down, clapping with glee. She's like, yes, finally, the helicopter mission, the helicopter mission. This one's for me.
I also think they could see that there was not a harness attached to the helicopter.
Yeah, they're like, great, I will ride in a helicopter. And so Rob heads up with her into the helicopter along with a chest, like a treasure chest. And Rob is thrilled because obviously he cannot have Johnny and Tara with Maura filling her head with nonsense during this whole mission. So when they get into the air, Maura tells Rob that they need to go for Eric. He's been too quiet. He's a traitor. She's like, he thinks we're stupid, but we're not that stupid.
You're right. We are not that stupid, Maura.
We're not that. But listen, she is able to put the pieces together on Eric as long as they're laid out in front of her, sort of pre-assembled, right next to each other. But Rob is not going to dispose of Eric at this point. There is no advantage really for him in jettisoning someone who is so aligned with him, when he can simply tell Maura, no, I don't think so. Let's go with our plan. He even, I even think his response was sort of suspicious. He doesn't even have to try that hard to fool Maura. She's telling him, I think he's a traitor. And Rob is just staring blankly ahead, looking annoyed. Like, oh, this is so going to mess up all of my plans. I really need her to not be saying this right now.
Luckily, Maura doesn't pay attention to anything other than Rob's dreamy face. The other 3 players head to the lock. Johnny and Tara in the car question Eric about his suspicions, and as per usual, he's really bad at deflecting. He's so non-committal. He's like, yeah, maybe it's Maura, Rob. I've thought it's anyone and everyone and no one. It's just so
They're
suspicious.
like, what about Maura? And he's kind of like, yeah, I don't really know anything about her. So I don't know. You're spending a lot of time with her lately, Eric.
And then
you
you're
don't
giving
have any
little
thoughts?
speeches about how you trust her implicitly.
Yeah.
It's like, her, I don't know. Her, I don't think about her, anyone.
It's hard to lie. At this point in the process, it's clear that Johnny and Tara would be the people he's suspicious of.
He probably honestly should have just been like, yeah, I mean, I think it's you.
Right. That's what he should have done. That would have seemed a little bit more straightforward. Alan explains that the 3 water players will need to race down river in a boat towards 4 pontoons. There are chests on each pontoon. Each one is sealed with a question about a dearly departed player who had their photograph smashed on the floor. And inside the box, Rob and Maura have face cards for banished and murdered players. When they're confident in the answer between them, like both the water players and the helicopter players have to tie the card to a float. Each one is worth a different amount, $500, $3,000, $7,500, and $9,000, and drop it down to the water players. If the answer is correct, they win that amount of money, and they have 45 minutes to open all the chests.
And I will say, they do a really good job in this challenge.
Yeah, I have to imagine that all the time that they spend back in their rooms taking notes and drawing little conspiracy boards might come in handy for something like this.
Yeah, because they all actually remember a lot of details.
Yeah. So Tara, Johnny, and Eric are on this tiny boat in the freezing lock. It's raining. They're being pelted. Even though Johnny is an Olympic figure skater and he's accustomed to being around the ice, he is cold. The Olympics get name dropped a lot this episode. Question 1 is, which player was last to have a coffin put in their grave at the last mission? Rob guesses Mark for $500, and it's correct. Question 2 is, who sat opposite the murdered player at the black banquet? Rob thinks it was Natalie, but Tara's like, no, I'm sure it was Colton. For some reason, they attached the largest number to this, even though they can't agree.
I was very confused by this, and then Rob immediately is like angry.
He's like, if this is wrong, I'm going to go ape shit. Well, it turns out that Tara was right and not you. Sorry, Rob.
He must be grateful because he got every one of those $9,000.
I know. She gave him a gift. Question 3 is, which player started and ended on a shield throne at the second mission? They all agree that it's Caroline for $3,000, and that's correct. The last question is, which housewife has received the most overall votes this season? And they're like, oh, Lisa.
Lisa Rinna. Duh.
Yeah, she had like 2 roundtables where there was a lot of heat on her. It's got to be her. And they're correct. So there's 10 minutes left, and the water players have to race back to Alan on the shore and deliver the money. Meanwhile, Maura, who is fully dry, is like, ugh, I need a hot bath. I'm so cold.
It's like, Maura, your comrades are down there.
No, her comrade is right next to you, next to her.
True.
And he's telling her, I can get you something hot. They're edging us this whole season.
Yeah, I was like, make out and then scam her, Rob.
So with 5 minutes left, Eric, Tara, and Johnny arrive back at Alan, and he offers them the option to double their money with another $20K. But there is a catch, and it's not a double or nothing catch. It's just that it's a difficult final challenge.
Do a little
and I'm like,
challenge.
Yeah, so go for it.
I know. I thought it was going to be like, if you fuck this up, you get nothing.
No, the catch is just like, I'm not going to hand you the money. You have to do another challenge.
The catch is like, Someone make Rob fly into the water.
Rob really is going to get wet. Who would hate that? Who would hate that option?
And $20K? Twist my arm.
Normally you have to pay $20K to get Rob wet. So the correct answer isn't in the box. It is on a buoy in the lock. And so either Rob or Maura will have to jump out of the helicopter and retrieve it and bring it back to shore.
Obviously, it will be Rob.
Right. Maura's like, I like helicopters. I don't like jumping into freezing cold water. Like, you can do it.
I get
She's
it.
like, Rob, you want to do it. I can tell you want to do it.
And to be honest, he does, because he's a big, strong man. And Maura's swooning. She's like, Rob, you're so brave.
Rob jumps in. He thrashes slowly through the lock, losing a shoe, and makes it to shore with the card with just 5 seconds to spare, and they bank an extra $20K.
I'm like, you know what? Rob doesn't need that shoe. He can buy so many.
He can buy more shoes. Can you imagine how annoying it would be to be like fully clothed in an ice cold body of water, trying to swim to a card and carry it to shore, and Alan Cummings on the shoreline being like, hurry, hurry. Like, I am okay.
I would be like, my years of swim team prepared me for this.
I would be doggy paddling. In the car on the way back, Maura again tries to convince Rob to go after Eric. For some reason, she thinks the traitors are Eric and Johnny or Tara. Or at least this is what she's saying to Rob.
Yeah, I think she thinks that the traitors are Eric and Johnny. She thinks that Johnny is like scamming Tara.
Right. She's kind of like, I think it's one of them, but it's clear that she's more suspicious of Johnny than Tara. But why would they be organizing against Eric together at this point?
Do you think Maura's thinking any of her assumptions through, Claire? 90% of them are just parroting thoughts that other people said that convinced her. Mostly Rob. About 10% of the time, someone else like Tara.
Like, if it were Eric and Johnny or Tara, like, Eric has been a bit of a swing vote. Like, they could have solidified an alliance if they had some interests in common.
Right.
And
it's
instead,
like
they would be trying to take out Eric so that they could go into the finale with Rob and Maura, who have been aligned against them. Like, it just doesn't really add up. She's trying, though. She's like, look, I don't think that Johnny and Tara will be acting this way if both of them were traitors. I disagree. I think this is actually exactly how they would act if they were both traitors, because the traitors are like an alliance at this point in the game. And that's why we have these alliances up against each other.
I think she just doesn't think Tara, she has a core belief that Rob is not a traitor. And she has a secondary, less strong core belief that Tara is not a traitor. So she needs to make her assumptions work around those two things.
Yeah. And to be fair to Maura, as you can tell from my attempts to work through the strategy here, I'm not the best at this either.
Oh, I'd be horrible at this game. But I also probably wouldn't like prance into the kitchen and be like, I'm amazing at it. I'd be like, why? No, truly, I'm bad. So like, what's going on?
You think you would do a second round of thinking about who you had chosen to trust in the game?
Yes. I might still get scammed. Like, I'm not saying I'm above that. I think that I would be very susceptible to emotional manipulation.
Yeah. The thing that's frustrating about it, I think, as a female viewer, is watching a woman like repeatedly choose to put all her trust in a man and like not even question that.
She's done it all season.
All season, like at the expense of women who have tried to make overtures and who are friends with her and who want to like have trusting relationships with her. And she's like, well, the one relationship that I absolutely have to protect and prioritize is with this man who is scamming me. And that just is like such a triggering thing to watch.
That's the thing. That's the thing. It is not emotionally satisfying for me. It is also what Maura deserves at this point.
I mean, she's making her choices. And back at the castle, the remaining players gather to strategize pre-roundtable. Tara and Johnny are feeling bad because they like everyone. But now that Natalie's gone and they don't have the votes, they've decided it's time to stick to their guns.
Guys, I'm so annoyed.
I mean, this was always like my frustration with Tara wanting to wait. It's like you don't really have the numbers now, but you're also not going to have them once someone else is banished and
And
someone else
murdered.
gets murdered. So, like, what is the plan?
No, the only way you could have waited is if you had a true long-term strategy and could see the path. She needed to work
Yeah.
it out all the way through and then realize that that path was probably not going to be there.
Right. And if there was going to be a path to having a deadlock at the table, then there would be another vote, and Rob couldn't play the dagger again. So, like, better to try to go for that scenario than to end up here, where instead of a 1 vote advantage, he basically has a 2 vote advantage because he had to banish an enemy and he got to murder again. So they're going to go for Eric and Rob. Johnny tells her that he thinks Maura could come for one of them, but Tara trusts Maura.
Always an error.
Well, the thing is that Tara trusts Johnny completely. She also believes that Maura trusts her. But in Maura's view, that trust does not extend to Johnny. Like,
That's the
Tara
thing.
thinks they're a unit, but she can't convince Maura to trust Johnny as much as Maura trusts her.
Right. At this roundtable, Maura is not going to come for Tara. But that's the only guarantee.
Tara tells the camera that she peaks when the pressure is the greatest, just like at the Olympics.
It hadn't peaked last week.
Yeah, wasn't high enough. She needed more pressure, and that's when you whip out the gold medal winning performance. Tara pulls Maura into the kitchen. They're both stressed. Tara says she wants to follow her gut on Eric, and Maura seems to agree. She's like, yeah, like it has to be. Like, we would have to be stupid. I mean, we've got this far. We're not stupid.
I'm like, Maura, you have made it this far precisely because you are stupid when it comes to Rob. You are Rob stupid.
Yeah. And like, we should all find someone who makes us stupid because we love and trust them so much. We
Just
shouldn't
perhaps
do
in
it
a venue that's not called the Traitors.
I go into every chess game with my opponent and I'm like, whatever move they make, I assume it's for our mutual benefit. Because that's trust. That's love, baby. Tara promises that she would never turn on Maura. Maura's like, I'm not going to come for you.
Right now.
Asterisk right now.
Yeah.
Maura says she feels sick. She's like, I don't know what to do. Am I trusting the wrong people? I don't like lying, but at this point in the game, I don't really have a choice.
And Maura decides at this point to play the game for at least 5 minutes. She's going to lie to Eric.
Yeah. And the problem is that she does this in front of Rob, and Rob knows she's lying because she tried very hard to convince Rob that Eric was a traitor about 2 hours ago. And Rob can see her looking into Eric's eyes and saying, genuinely, I'm not going to come for you. I trust you. And he's like, wow, she's really convincing. I sort of assumed that she was incapable of this, but I guess she's not. I feel like so much of like the history of culture and as written by men is the dawning realization that women are capable of lying just like they are. And they're like, oh my God, we're surrounded by these people we thought that we were in charge of, but they have the capacity for
Like, they
interior
have
life.
Agency?
They can deceive me.
Huh.
Oh my God, these women are all deceiving us. There's the panic. It's like, oh my God, if women can lie, like what else can they do?
Trust none of them. We must consolidate our male power.
He did not think she could do it. And now he realizes that she could be lying to him. And he's scared.
Not that scared, but like the tiny bit scared. So they head to the round table, and Maura doesn't know what to do because she thinks that Johnny is a traitor and Eric is a traitor. So who does she go for first? Eric kicks off the round table by playing sad. He's the odd man out. There's 2 Love Islanders, 2 Olympians. He's but a humble K-pop star.
I mean, he's got a good point. That's why he's kind of the implicit swing vote, except that secretly he and Rob have a strong alliance. Because he is not in a category with anyone else like that. And that can be useful in a game. People do feel a certain level of allegiance. out in the outside world, he's probably richer than like anyone else on the show. But like, do they have that affinity like these other two groups have?
Right. That is the thing that I started to realize about Eric. I was like, he doesn't need $100,000.
I know. This is
Child's
like
play for him.
this is probably like a casino night where you play for like quarters or something for him. And so he's like, I've been so confused and lost, and like, I don't know what to do. I'm just trying to, think things through. And I'm so honest and I'm such a faithful. And at this point, I'm leaning toward Tara or Johnny. Rob takes this cue and jumps in to point out that they kept their friendship a secret until one of them was about to be banished. And that's suspicious. And Johnny says, yeah, it's the sneakiest thing we've done all game. That was sneaky. We just didn't want to be a target immediately. And Maura is always quick to jump in on people's defenses of themselves and be like, oh, yeah, absolutely, if she likes them. Johnny says that he thinks there are 2 traitors left out of the 5, and he 99.99% knows it's not Tara because of their history together. So they're looking for 2 other people, and he doesn't think that it's Maura. Maura's being herself, and he connects with that. It truly is like process of elimination. He's like, there's almost no one left, and it can't be Maura.
Right.
So,
I mean, I suppose there is a world in which there was only one traitor left. So Johnny does get that right.
they sent home a traitor. They must have recruited someone. We haven't gotten a traitor out since then. That is just like the assumption we have to go under because it's the most likely scenario. I think they probably all kind of like agree on this because they are all talking about 2 traitors.
Yeah.
Tara says that she's loved playing this game with Maura no matter what happens. And Johnny makes the case for Eric. His game has been very opaque. He's very quiet about his gameplay.
I'm just frustrated that no one put together or brought up the fact that Kristen seeded Eric's name, was killed, and then Mark, who did seed Eric's name, but maybe only to Rob, as far as we saw, who was Kristen's closest ally, was killed right after. Like, there is a compelling argument to be made here for Eric that isn't made. And I don't think it would have changed anything, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and it's tough because we don't have any clear sense that Mark specifically said something to the rest of the crew, but it is true that Kristen murder was also there. He and Kristen were very close. It seems like the sort of thing that would have come up on a season where there were like sharper faithfuls
Competent
left
faithfuls.
at the end.
Yeah, like,
yeah, everything is like a vibe here. Everything is like, it feels like this. I have a gut feeling that. And sometimes that's all you have to go on. But there's not enough of an effort to like marshal evidence here.
no. Oh, that's why Natalie was such a loss.
Yeah. I mean, Rob did such a great job getting rid of everyone who would be a threat at this point in the game.
He really did.
They don't come with a very solid case. And Tara does jump in and says Eric has never told her anything about who he suspects. He's passionate, but only when someone else seeds a theory. He doesn't have his own theories.
And she's correct about this. But Eric is like, I just don't trust you. I trust other people. And that is also like a compelling counterpoint.
Well, he also says, I'm just not a passionate person, which I thought was a really funny thing to say.
Except about the laugh, because he has magic ears.
He was passionate about that. He's passionate about pitch. He's like, there are people that I trusted in this game. Mark, Kristen, Rob. Interesting that includes 2 of the people who were bandying his name about at the end, and then they got murdered immediately. He's like, I confided in them, just not in you, Tara. He's like, I've played as a faithful from the beginning to the end.
I like that he pauses. He's like, from the beginning to the end.
He had to like mentally forget what the first half of that sentence was. He's like, I would fall apart as a traitor. I can't look people in the eye when I'm lying. And like, yeah, he has been doing a pretty bad job of lying about it. That's why everyone was on to him almost immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
It's almost like, oh, you're all suspicious of me just because I've been acting like a traitor recently? Well, joke's on you, because I would never be able to act like a faithful if I was a traitor. Wait a second. Tara says she pressed him in the car to tell her who he thought the traitor was, and he threw out Maura's name. I thought this was obviously done just to kind of peel Maura away from him
Yes,
further.
and it should have.
Yeah.
Like,
Because, like, what does that have to do with anything except, like, Maura, don't trust this man? And he says, yeah, there have been moments when all of you have been on my list. Rob looks frustrated as hell. Like, I can just imagine being like, why would you say Maura's name? Like, in the car? Like, what's going on? Like, this is just not
this
going
is
the way I
Rob
want
being
it to
like,
go.
Eric is expendable and I will be expending him.
Rob says to the table that tonight he's throwing out his playbook and going on instincts.
Yeah.
This man will never throw out his playbook. He's going through his checklist.
Oh, I mean, why would
one
you
by
throw out the
one.
playbook when the end is so close and everything is
Yeah.
check?
He says if one of them were a traitor, wouldn't they recruit their best friend? He loves them all so much, but he's going with his gut. He trusts more in Eric. And he does have a point that I think would feel convincing at the table, which is like they all believe that someone is a traitor who was recruited. If Johnny was recruited, wouldn't he want to not have to lie to Tara anymore? And I do think that if one of them were a traitor, that's what they would do. Because while
I agree.
Rob, I think, liked having allies close to him that he could trust, but he didn't have to share everything with them. I don't think that Johnny and Tara would enjoy that.
No, and I mean, I wouldn't either. So I do
Yeah.
agree. It's time to vote. Eric, of course, votes for Johnny. He's like, it's nothing personal. Johnny votes for Eric. Rob votes for Johnny. And did you notice, like, under the name, there were a bunch of, like, S's
I
or
didn't
snake? It was, like,
notice.
in quotes and then, like, 5 S's that I couldn't tell if they were S's or snakes. I was like, do they have a little inside joke? Like, what's going on here?
I don't know. Is that his signature?
I don't know, but I had questions. And he's like, I
Yeah.
love you, man. I'm just going with my gut. Tara, of course, votes for Eric. And Maura's the tiebreaker. And she fucking votes for Johnny. I was like, all hope is lost. The
Yeah.
sliver of hope that I didn't even really have. Now it's lost.
Yeah. I mean, I should have seen it coming.
I did.
You did. I let myself hope a little bit. I let myself imagine that she was going to be like a Gone Girl style. She's scheming.
You're like, she's
And
doing 4D chess this whole time.
yeah, this was the moment where I was like, no, I don't think that's what's happening, actually. She says to Johnny, I'm sorry. It's really just a gut feeling, and I love you. I really do.
And I was like, well, I hope you love him $100,000
I
because
mean,
that is what you have lost.
I hope she loves Rob $100,000 much, because that's who's going to get it. And Johnny tells us, of course, it's not nice to lose, but I'm so proud of what I've done here, and I was able to do it with Tara by my side. Eric and Rob are the traitors, and I hope for Tara's sake that Maura sees something that maybe she hasn't seen yet.
Don't worry, babe. She won't. On that note, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, the end of the Traitors finale.
And we're back. So after the round table, Tara is bereft.
But the Olympics.
But the Olympics, she's like, it's very devastating to lose my best friend, but I have to remember that little 15-year-old girl who went out there and won the Olympics, and that little girl was me, and that little girl can also convince the most emotionally stigmatized woman on the planet to trust her over that man.
You cannot. But I
There's-
appreciate the confidence.
There's no getting through to Maura at this point. I'm sorry.
It's
She's
done.
been hypnotized.
It's done. It's done.
Rob and Maura have a confab, and she whispers to him, basically like, promise me at the end that we get Eric. He's a traitor. And Rob like takes her head between his hands and looks in her eyes and whispers, we're gonna win this game.
Diabolical shit.
And they pinky swear. And then he gives her a big bear hug and lifts her off the ground.
Because Rob is like, my wet dream. It is here. I get a reason to betray the only person who can take one single red cent from me, and I'm going to feel fucking great about it. All he needs is Maura to vote Tara out and the traitors win. It literally doesn't matter if Maura trusts anyone but Rob.
Yeah, no, this is working out absolutely perfectly for
Rob is like,
Rob.
I've won. Rob has gotten to this point. He's like, I win.
Yeah. And, we have had, and Rob himself has been critical of our commentary on his sort of bros over hoes mentality and pointed out that, like, he needed Eric at this point in the game. It was too soon to jettison Eric.
Which I just want to point out, we did say.
Yeah, and we agree.
Yeah.
And obviously, he also views his bros ultimately as disposable at the altar of his own winning, right?
I
at the
agree with
end.
that too. I do think Rob loves himself more than he loves his bros. He loves his bros
100%.
over his hoes, and he loves himself over everyone. And that's fair. That's the name of the game. And
Yeah.
as we've said for the last few weeks, the incompetence of the faithfuls, and Eric has contributed nothing. So Rob deserves to win.
It would feel sort of like a wrong conclusion to the season for anyone else to win at this point. Like he's engineered his win very carefully. I think that this was the way it was always headed, and that is why he ultimately never considered Maura as a fellow traitor. He needs a faithful who trusts him and is more allied with him than anyone. And he needs a traitor who he doesn't think is the kind of person who would stab him in the back so that he can stab his bro in the back.
Yes.
And his girl will be there by his side supporting him. And then he will implicitly stab her in the back. He doesn't even have to do it actively because she doesn't get any money as long as he's there. Like everything is playing out in exactly the way that he wanted.
Rob.
Yeah. All he needs is for Maura to vote Tara out and the traitors win. And if she wants to get rid of Eric, that's perfect, actually, because that means that he'll be standing alone at the end and he'll win. The last thing that he needs is for Maura to trust Eric over him. He's like, oh, you're suspicious of Eric. Oh, that's too bad. Perfect. Works for me.
Eric pulls Maura aside and is like, are we good? And she simply does not answer. So he, I think, figures out that they probably are not good.
Then Tara comes into the room kind of loudly being like, I swear, guys, it's not me, but someone has to be a traitor.
The thing is, they all know it's not her, but none of them care to end the game with her.
So the bros depart to a side room. Eric knows now that Maura is suspicious of him, but he and Rob are feeling good. They agree to get Tara out first. And Eric says that he knows that way he and Rob will have the numbers even if Maura wants to banish again. Implicit in this is that he assumes Rob will vote with him to send his like ride or die home so that he can split the money with a K-pop star.
Right.
I don't
Certainly
think that
not.
will be happening.
Eric doesn't realize that this is even a possibility until the moment it is happening.
He doesn't see it coming. I was like, Eric, my guy, like...
If he was a strategic player, and again, this is exactly why Rob did the wise thing of selecting Eric, he would be playing the game to try to get everyone on his side against Rob.
Right.
But he can't at this point.
It doesn't occur to him that Rob would not want to split the money with him because he feels fine splitting the money with Rob.
Right. He's like,
we're
I don't
a team.
care. We're a team. And also, like, we've been helping each other.
Yeah.
And like, I get it. Again, like, I am not strategic. I'm a friendship girly. So I probably also would be like, me and my friend get to win together. This is awesome. And then I would get just shanked. Like,
Meanwhile, Tara is talking to Maura and she tells her that she thinks the traitors are Eric and Rob. But Maura just can't. She can't. Her brain rejects the information that Rob has been suspicious in any way. It doesn't compute. It's not something that you can hold it in front of her eyes and she'd be like, I don't see anything.
Yeah, no, it's just invisible. She's even like, am I being stupid? I did only meet Rob once before coming to the castle and he's so loyal to me now. Tara's like, babe, Rob is protecting you. That's why you're here. She's like the fourth person to point out this possibility to Maura. And Maura's like, acting like this is the first time she's ever heard this theory.
She's like, that is so crazy. I'm not here because Rob has been protecting me. It's just that we're incredibly loyal to each other. We're ride or
And
die.
I'm brilliant.
And I'm brilliant. And that's why I'm still here to the end. Maura's like inability to process the reality of what's happening with Rob, I think, is affecting her body. Like
Yeah.
her body knows something is wrong, but her brain and her heart are like, everything is fine because I'm with Rob and Rob is safe. She's like, this game is so screwed up. It's making me shake. What if I'm trusting the wrong person? What if I'm just being fooled and the traitors are Rob and Eric?
Oh, girl, you are.
The body is keeping the score right now, Maura. You're shaking because your body knows that you're getting played.
Before the final, Alan Cumming does little interviews with all the finalists about what winning would mean to them. Eric is like, it means I'm nice.
Yeah, he's like, I hope that a nice guy can win in the end. And that's what this would represent. I really like Eric.
I do too. I relate to
and-
him. He's just like a sweet man wearing a nicely tailored suit. And I love both
Yeah.
of those things.
He does seem like a really nice guy, and he does wear a suit very well. And I will say that, like, being a nice guy, you know, is much more appealing in this game when you don't need $200,000. Like, that is like the thing about these games is always that there is such a difference in what players feel comfortable doing based on their resources. And like people who are like super rich approach it differently than people who have been on reality shows but have never kind of like hit the big time financially.
Yeah. And it's hard to know.
I don't know exactly anyone's net
Yeah.
worth, but he's like acted in major films. Like he's been a K-pop star
Eric
for a long time. I
certainly,
assume
at
he's
bare
doing
minute,
great.
bare minimum is a millionaire. I think
Right.
Tara probably is as well. She's got to
Yeah.
be, right? Like there's certain level of like sponsorships that you get in those worlds that like bring in the big bucks.
Like some of these people I think are like never have to worry about money again level rich if they choose to retire. And
Some
some
are
of them
like
aren't.
successful, but never have to work again.
Yeah. So Eric is playing a nice guy game, and I'm like, well, honestly, it's smart in a sense. Like, all you really have to get out of this is people liking you more or not. So you might as well come off well. Tara says that it would be more about the pride of winning than the money because she just like is always getting it wrong and she wants to get it right.
She also, again, doesn't need the money.
Yeah. Rob in his signature tank and one shoulder overalls.
He had to come back to that look for the end. It's the only thing that would feel right.
He knows all about personal branding. He says because of the things that he's done that he's not proud of during this game, this would make it all worth it if he won, or it would all have been for nothing. It's kind of like if I had to like fuck over and lie to so many of my friends, I should at least get a bunch of money
Yeah.
out of that, right? Like, at least I should be rewarded. He wants to help his family and his future family. He's like, this would be a life-changing amount of money. I genuinely was like, I don't understand how much certain reality stars make from what they do, but I would think from being such a huge star on his season of Love Island and the opportunities he's had since then that he would not find it life-changing to have 200K anymore.
I think he
But
might.
I guess it's possible that I'm wrong.
I think it's probably still substantial to him, but like we know he's done major like ad campaigns already. On the other
Right.
hand, he did give up the like Love Island after the villa contract in order to do Traitors.
Yeah.
So
that,
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, I think he's in a different financial position probably than like Eric and Tara.
He's definitely like still establishing himself in this space. So like this is the moment to
But
make
he's
the most
not,
of your
like,
opportunities.
destitute.
No, I don't think so. But like I was like, is he playing me as an audience member, making me feel like he really needs this money when he's actually a huge star? Or is it true that when you're at this stage of establishing yourself as a reality TV personality and you can't take every opportunity and some of them don't pay as much as people think, that maybe 200K
Yeah.
means a lot more to you than I would assume?
I do think that 200K, that it's not unbelievable to me that 200K would feel like a really significant amount of money to him.
Yeah.
He's also like the only cast member in his 20s. He's still like
Yeah.
truly establishing his career. He's on the up and up, but I don't think he's like swimming in millions of dollars.
Yeah. And if he wants to spend a lot of time throwing stones at the creek and instead of like doing bar appearances and Instagram content, then like he needs to put some money in the bank.
You know what? It's already paying off. He and Lisa Rinna just did a commercial together and it was
I know. I loved it. He's like, I want to help my family and my future family. He wants kids. Dangerous information. Dangerous information to put out there. Every straight woman in America just broke an ankle sliding into his DMs. Maura, in full dominatrix glam, does tell Alan that she's nervous about trusting in Rob. And this is Rob's like one fear is maybe Tara has put a little doubt in Maura's mind. Maura's like, so many men have lied to me, so it's hard for me to trust a man.
And I was like, okay, Maura, at least your outfit is looking great.
This is like the inverse of the CT and Trishelle season, which
Correct.
The whole season was about Trishelle wondering if she could actually trust CT. And then there was this hard-won trust built between them that paid off in the end because neither of them were traitors and they won together. And this is more like this whole time, for some reason, she's been trusting Rob blindly.
Yeah, I was like the least hard one.
Right. And she's going to get stabbed in the back
as a result. So it's time for the fire of truth. And I was like, this is getting good. The game ends, of course, when they all agree to end it or whenever it gets down to 2 players. At the beginning, first round, all 4 of them vote to banish again, obviously. Tara is like, there's a traitor in our midst. It's Eric. She implores Maura to trust her. Eric is like, it's Tara because it's not me.
Yes. I mean, process of elimination, baby.
Eric votes for Tara. Tara votes for Eric. Rob votes for Tara. And he's like, I love you, sweetheart, but I trust these 2. And I was just like, stop calling her sweetie. This is taking me out, Rob.
She's like, she's an adult woman. Yeah, she's not your daughter.
Please stop.
Maura votes for Tara. Yeah. On her way out, Rob whispers to Tara, bye, sweetie.
It was like, Rob, calm down. Stop it.
He gets so weird about the women when he votes them off.
Yeah,
he's like,
creeps
you're
me out.
You're so fierce and stunning and iconic, sweetie, and I love you. Bye. I say that knowing that if Rob called me sweetie, I would melt into a puddle on the floor. Nevertheless.
No, not if he just like took the possibility of like $100,000 from me. I would not want to be called sweetie.
That's not the moment when I would want to hear that.
No, call me sweetie in just like a mundane moment and then I'll melt.
Exactly. That's the time. Tara is like, I'm feeling so devastated. She thought Maura realized it was Eric and Rob, but she never thought she'd make it this far, and she did her best, so she has to feel good about that. Sure. I feel like Tara, like Maura, made it to the end because Rob did not view her as a threat whatsoever. So we have all of these like really incompetent game players who are just like, I made it so far and I'm really proud of myself. And I'm like, no, that's because someone else is really good at playing the game.
Right. I think everyone at that final fire other than Rob is there because of Rob's goodwill. Or like not goodwill, strategic like goodwill.
Yeah.
Like,
because Rob found it more convenient to have them present than someone else.
Right. Like, why would you want like Kristen there when you could have Eric, Maura, and Tara?
I will say that I appreciate that Tara really did try to go for it this episode.
She did try.
If only because it would have been really boring if they had all just lain down the way that Maura is and waited for Rob to come up to them and pick their pockets.
Yeah, no, I would have lost my mind. I'm like, at least, I think Johnny and Tara knew they were probably going to lose and they still went for it. And that is what you should do.
It's like the bar is so low, right? Like they didn't do a good job. Like they should have done it last week and they choked. That is how bad things have gotten, to where I'm like, at least they tried. At least they made it a little bit interesting. Like that's what a wreck the season was at the end. But she was right in the end, and I wish that she had stood her ground when it would have maybe counted. Eric, at this point, clearly thinks they're going to end the game
I was
here.
like, oh, Eric. Oh, you dum-dum. He's like smugly looking at Maura like, me and my buddy Rob, we did it. We did it.
He votes to end it. He's like, I trust you guys. But Maura votes to banish again. And she looks over at Eric and says, I think Eric thinks he had us all fooled.
And Eric looks smug as hell. He's like, surely my bro Rob will simply banish Maura and hand me $110,000.
Like, you think that Rob is essentially, his vote now is, do I keep $100,000 or do I give it away?
Give it
And
to
you
this
think he's
multimillionaire.
You think he's going to vote to give it away?
But
he didn't
no,
get
no,
this
no.
far by thinking that way, my guy.
Exactly. He didn't come this far to come this far, okay? Rob, of course, also votes to banish again, and this I did find satisfying. He's like, I made a pinky promise and I intend to keep it. And in this moment and this moment only, does it dawn on Eric that he's screwed. And he's also hurt, which I do understand, because I would be too. Even if it's fair game, which it is.
They all get their feelings hurt in this
Yeah.
game. You know, that it's a game of getting your feelings hurt.
Game. This is, again, just yet another reason I'd be bad at it.
Yeah.
He's like, I really, really trusted you guys, and it sucks, and it hurts. Maura and Rob both apologize. And Eric says to Maura, I want you to think about why you've never questioned the other player in this game. We've all had that question, Eric. Do you think she's going to answer it now?
He's throwing a Hail Mary. He's like, really think about it, Maura. Why are you here?
And she's like, no, no, no. Butterflies, butterflies.
Butterflies. He tells her that she's so incredibly wrong about him, which she's not. But it also is true that she's wrong about Rob.
She's generally wrong. Globally, she's very wrong.
And Maura is confused. She's like, Eric has to be the traitor. It can't be Rob. Like,
It literally doesn't occur to her in any capacity that it could have been both of them. Even though it's been said to her. I can't.
You can take Maura and put her right in front of the theory. You can lay it all out for her. You can snap your fingers in front of her face. You can
Rob
point.
has to literally tell her like 5 times that he is a traitor. Like, that's the level. That's the level to which she is emotionally digmatized.
Honestly, I will say that this season is a great advertisement for Maura as a girlfriend. She seems very trusting. She rides hard for the people that she loves.
True.
That man is going to be the number one person in her life.
No matter what.
No matter what. Like, she's out here, guys.
So,
the perfect woman.
Eric votes for Rob at this final banishment, which I did find satisfying. He says, I really trusted you. I know and I truly believe that Maura is not a traitor, which leaves you. Predictably, Rob and Maura vote for Eric, and Rob, stone cold. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, this is interesting because clearly at this point, Eric could have voted for Maura, but it's so clear to him that Rob wouldn't have needed to vote to banish again for Maura to be a non-factor. So he's like, I just have to try to take Rob out. He's coming for me. I have to try to sway Maura. Too little, too late. After Rob votes for him, Eric is stunned. He says to the camera, if I'd done that, I just wouldn't be able to live with myself in that way. It's just a different line in the sand that we have. Money is great, but I think relationships are more important, and it doesn't feel good.
It definitely doesn't feel good. And also, again, he doesn't need the money.
Right. I'm like, yeah, money is great and relationships are more important when you have like as much money as you need. And If you don't, then like money might feel more important than the relationships that you have with a specific group of people that you met on a reality show and they're not your family.
So it's time for the reveal. Alan comes out and is like, if you're both faithfuls, you'll split the prize pot. If one of you is a traitor, that person will take all the money. Maura does her reveal first, and she tries to do a cute little, I'm so sorry, I'm a faithful.
Yeah, she's like trying to fake him out, and it's just so sad because like
He
he's a
knows.
traitor, so he knows. She looks so tickled with herself, and Rob like pretends to be relieved, which is funny because the deception is over, my friend.
It's Rob's turn, and he says, I am and always have been a traitor. And Maura's soul leaves her body.
She did say that she would die if he was a traitor, and it kind of seems like
Spiritually,
it for a second.
she is dying in this moment.
She goes blank. She's frozen in place. She's just staring at him, unblinking. She looks stricken. He has to be like, no, I'm a traitor. I'm a traitor. I'm serious. She's like, are you joking? And he's like, no, I'm a traitor. I've been a traitor the whole game. Like, she really does seem to be just as shocked and horrified as if she just found out he was a serial killer.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so stupid. You absolute asshole. You're a piece of work. I was so convinced. You've embarrassed me. And he's sort of being like, I'm sorry. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But she kind of brushes it off.
And then he does this really condescending thing that he loves to do to women where he's like, but you lasted so long. And she finally cuts him off and is like, do not speak. It's like, yes, Maura, you're realizing. It's dawning on you that all the times people said to you, you are only here because of Rob.
Literally true.
So it's actually crazy work for him to be like, you lasted so long, sweetie.
You did such a good job.
Like, no, Rob, she did a terrible job.
Yeah.
She was a really good pawn for you. That's fine. That's fair. You did an incredible job, but like it is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. People kept trying to tell her that she was a pawn, and she refused to consider it. She didn't do any real critical thinking about it, and that's why she's still here. Rob is sort of smiling during this conversation, hopefully out of discomfort.
It's an odd situation, and she's like short-circuiting trying to process this level of betrayal. And she's like, you're never going to have a girlfriend after this. You're such a good liar.
He's definitely going to have a girlfriend.
Women
are going to be lining up
girlfriends.
Women have dated hot men who have done far worse, and they do it knowingly, and they do it all the time. I don't think he's going to have a problem.
He's going to thrive.
Yeah. I'm not worried about Rob. Maura does her confessional to the camera. She's like, oh, dear God, I'm a fool. This is why I don't trust anybody ever, because they stab you in the goddamn back. It's very sad that she, like, has had her trust issues reinforced by this game. But again, this is actually one setting where even a good person sort of is structurally required to be deceitful. And so it's not a great place to trust someone without question.
Yeah, in fact, like, it might be a good place to lean into your trust issues.
Right. Your trust issues could have been your superpower.
Yeah.
You could have been like, I don't trust men. I've had plenty of experiences trusting men because they were handsome and charming and they made me feel good to be around.
Instead, she's like, you know what? This one time, I'm going to do it.
This is going to heal my trust issues. I think this is the time when I should try just blindly trusting a hot man again. And I think this time it's going to work out, and that's going to be what I need. It's going to be really therapeutic.
But I will give Maura credit that she kind of bounces back pretty quickly and is like, you know what? Fair play. No hard feelings. I'm just in shock. I really thought I was winning there for a minute, but I would have done the same if I was a traitor. Like, she is able to clock in and be like, okay, this was a game and I got played, and like, it is what it is.
She tells the camera, he's a bad man. He's a really, really bad man, but good for him. Rob, you're a fucking snake, but well done.
I mean, yeah, yes.
Who knew that I would end the game more than anyone just really agreeing with Maura?
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the correct take.
Alan comes out and congratulates Rob on winning. And Rob, who I will say displays no such thing, says he has mixed emotions. I don't see any emotions.
I mean, I truly think that Rob is an interesting figure because he's talked a little bit about with the conversation around Ron and his autism diagnosis after being on the show that he feels like they have a lot in common. He also sees some of these tendencies. It wouldn't surprise me if he just is someone who emotes differently or like,
Absolutely. I don't believe he's like a sociopath. I don't think he like has no emotion. We've seen it. He's been like, I love Ron. Ron is my friend. And I think those things are true.
I think that he is concerned about being misunderstood a lot.
Yes, and I do think that's why he's really mad about, random low performing TikToks like clips of our podcast.
Yeah, like I get
which I say, Rob, we have complex feelings about you.
Yeah.
And you should listen to the full episodes because we praise you a lot and we think you're very handsome. And also, it's okay. The patriarchy informs all of us. It doesn't make you a bad person.
It also clearly very much informed Maura's gameplay among other people. Yeah, I think it informed everyone's reactions to him, which was a big part of his superpower.
Guys, we all live in a society. We are all impacted by these forces, and questioning them does not mean that you have to say, I personally, individually am a horrific person.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We can do both.
It's just interesting to get to this point in the game where he played so cold-bloodedly at so many points to win. And now he's at the point where he's trying to convey that he is not a cold-blooded person and he cares about his friends and he feels guilt, and it's hard to kind of buy it from him. But I do kind of believe it. I think it must be a very confusing thing to actually make it that far in the game and have become so close with everyone.
Absolutely.
And to feel like you played everything perfectly, and also to be like, but they're humans, and it made them feel less good and trusting toward me. This is how he felt when he saw Maura lie to Eric.
But he does point out, would you give $100,000 to someone you met 3 weeks ago? I wouldn't.
Yeah, he feels bad, but he doesn't.
Not that bad. Don't overstate the case, Claire.
No, I think that's a lot of us, though. It's I feel bad that this person is disappointed and that they got fucked over, but does that mean that I want to give them the thing that I got instead of them?
No.
No. I'm still my own number one bro. You have to be your own number one bro at the end of the day.
And that's beautiful. And Alan asks how long he thinks it'll take Maura to come around. And Rob says he doesn't think she'll ever forgive him. And he yells, I'm sorry, Maura. I personally think she's already forgiven him.
I think so, too. He yells, I did it. He says, people see me as just a dumb, hot person, but I've been a traitor from day one, and I won. I beat everyone.
And Alan says that he thinks Rob is one of the greatest traitors they've had thus far. And yeah, I agree.
I've only watched a few seasons and only of the U.S. Traitors, but this is actually the first season I've watched where a traitor won.
It's only the second time it's happened. It happened in season 1.
Yeah, and so I started season 2. I was really excited to get to watch the fallout of a traitor winning.
Yes. And look, I think we said weeks ago, Maura deserves to be in the final 2 with Rob and get every red cent stolen from her. And that's exactly what happened.
I found this conclusion much more satisfying than I expected, given how obvious it was that it was coming.
Rob says all he has to do now is find a nice girl who hasn't watched TV too much, which I guess eliminates the 2 of us. Unfortunate.
Oh,
and
well.
then maybe a nice farm with some kids running around. And then he says, which is truly hilarious coming from a reality star, I just want a quiet life. And that's why he's been giving long-form interviews to New York Magazine and going on multiple reality shows.
Yeah.
Everyone on this show, at their core, just wants to live a quiet life.
would all of the people who are watching the shows that I'm starring on just like stop talking about me? I'm trying to live a quiet life over here. This was wild too, because I was like, he's literally doing an Evie magazine article right now. He's offering the trad fantasy to some sweet, innocent girl who hasn't been exposed to too much of the world. I'm
Not
like,
a
I need to
reality
find,
TV viewer. Not those ladies.
I need to find an innocent woman who doesn't really know much about what's going on out there, and then we'll just like have a farm together with a bunch of kids. Call the Hugo Booms. He needs another profile. You suggested that maybe this is an audition for Farmer Wants a Wife.
I mean,
Do
I
you-
don't think they could afford him, but I'm like, that would be an incredible get.
I think maybe a cousin, like, isn't more in their budget, like a Rob Roush cousin who they can plausibly claim has a farm. So Rob and Alan head inside to have a drink, and Alan says, "Bad things happen in the dark around here. Bad things will happen to you in the dark if Maura finds you." And Rob says, "I hope so."
That's Maura, a nice girl who hasn't watched television and wants to live a quiet life on a farm.
The thing that they have been doing is like the most blatant for the cameras showmance.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
there's no part of me that's like, I wonder if they're dating now.
No. No, it's just for fun. Come
It's
on.
just for fun.
Also, I'm going to say the Bachelor franchise should look around and see an opportunity here.
Yeah. I mean, that could be, he's looking for a wife.
He's looking for a wife. He wants to have children and he wants a quiet life. This is the kind of delusion that the Bachelor absolutely loves.
Yes. This is America's sweetheart. Like, we had some episodes where we were so annoyed at Rob that we were getting wobbly on the idea of Rob as
But I've
as
come
the
back
Bachelor.
around. I, like Maura, have recovered from the betrayal.
Yeah. Ultimately, I think like we had plenty of critiques of Rob and his maybe sort of under-examined misogyny that I think is
Yes.
latent in most of us. I mean, we
And
watched
I stick by that commentary.
totally. And like, I mean, we just watched the phone call that the US men's hockey team had with President Trump and the way that they laughed at a sexist joke that he made about the women's hockey team. And a bunch of those players are Trumpers, right? But not all of them. And I think that that kind of is another symbolic moment of just how men are socialized to think of women and talk about them in their spaces, to hold them in a slightly different category, to maybe give them not quite as much credibility or respect, even if they think that they are. And I think that boys are often raised with that. Even girls are raised with that. We see girls women talking about other women on the show compared to men differently. Like, that is just the water we swim in. And it's always really satisfying when we see people resist that on the show. And I don't think that many people on this season did resist that. I think there was a lot of playing into those gender stereotypes and that slight misogyny. And Rob really benefited from that. And so he played into it even more. And that was fascinating to watch and sometimes very frustrating. But ultimately, he also played a really great game.
He deserved the win, and I still think that he would make a really great celebrity bachelor.
He would definitely make a great celebrity bachelor. I've seen other people throwing the name out there. Like, the momentum is building, it's snowballing. This is how it started with Taylor Frankie Paul. Like, I think it's a possibility.
Rob Mills, we know you listen sometimes. Free idea.
So the episode ends with a casting call for Traitors USA, a normie season.
Guys, apply
And then tell us everything.
Couldn't be me. I'd be so bad at this game, but we'll be watching.
Yeah, we can't be on the show because we're lazy and we want to stay home.
Yeah. I don't
Literally
like to be physically uncomfortable and in like that kind of bone chilling Scottish dank cold.
Yeah.
But and also I'd be really bad at the game. but I love it for other people.
Whenever they're doing a challenge, I'm just like, so glad I'm not there. So glad I'm here instead. But, apply and tell us all about it, please. The reunion, we are not able to cover right now. So we will be back when we've been able to watch it with some thoughts on that reunion. I hope it's juicy. And with that, that's it for this episode of Love to See It with Emma and Claire. If you're watching this on YouTube, remember to like and subscribe to our channel.
Love to See It is a presentation of Odyssey. The show is produced by us, Claire Fallon and Emma Gray. Our production assistant is Tatiana Knies-Smith, who also edits our video. And the audio on this episode was edited by John Bahar.
Our theme music is by Tamar Habib, and our art is by Aaron Nestor.
If you like our show, remember to follow us, rate us 5 stars, leave a review, and of course, spread the word to all of your friends about Love to See It.
If you want to get in touch, you can email us at claireandemmapod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on TikTok at Love to See It Pod and on Instagram at Claire and Emma Pod. And you can find our newsletter Rich Text on Substack at claireandemma.substack.com. I'm also on Blue Sky at Emma Gray and on Instagram at EmmaLadyRose.
And I'm at Claire E. Fallon. Special thanks to the team at Odyssey, Eric Donnelly, Peter Arriaga, Kate Rose, Moira Curran, Melissa Wester, and Hillary Shook.
We'll be back soon.
Can you keep